What makes the ASU so difficult in their defense?
I think just the blitz that they bring, how often they bring it. So it's got a big chance of, negative plays, tackle for losses, sacks, but also, they give up, a lot of big plays. So.
How has Justin been within practice of identifying pressures? Yost said that's, the 2 games you played, you've hardly been blitzed.
Yeah, that's going to be a big key to this week, communication between the offensive line and Justin and make sure we're on the same page.
How has he been improving these past few weeks? It seems kind of like big jumps, especially because he is a freshman. How does he look in practice this week?
He looks good. I think everyone's confident in him, and as long as we continue to get better, and I think Justin will keep learning out. As a freshman, it's kind of a learning curve, and being able to make mistakes and learn from those, I think that's the best way to just get that experience.
I feel like we ask this question every week, but how is the mood of the team?
It's good. It's really good. I think a lot of guys were really positive and liked the way that guys competed and gave effort on the last game, and continued to just build off of that.
Yeah. How promising, I guess, was it to see that second half and to see that kind of more complete effort from both offense and defense?
It was awesome. Some of the energy that was on the sideline, I think, hasn't been there, from most of the year. So, kind of some of the energy after defense was, getting turnovers, and we were playing off of that. I think, really helped our confidence.
You guys have never really been in a spot with, your back against the wall trying to make a bowl game. What is the leadership part of that you guys need to I guess, capture in the next the remainder of your schedule?
Just continuing to get better each day. Building off of our past game, and carry that momentum into this Arizona State game.
Do you guys think about the fact that you have to win, 4 games of your last 5 to become bowl eligible?
I think guys know that, and but we just continue to try to one game at a time, and take it from there.
You were around here last year with the sheets against Arizona State. Did you guys get a heads up that was going to be the call down there in Tempe? Or?
Yeah. We had word that some of their coaches and players on the sideline were stealing signs, and so just to counter that, we had those sheets, and I ended up helping out. I think after the press conference, Graham said he was stealing signs or something like that. I don't know. He admitted it to it, so it was just kind of funny seeing that that actually happens today in college football.
How early in the week do you guys have to set that out, and get that ready to go, or is it something that you can do, day before the game, institute it?
Yeah, it's something you do the day before the game. It's just a sheet with some PVC pipes, so just put it together and
sure,
it's good to go.
Some of the players were saying that last year it was hardest to see the signs behind the sheets when you're inside the 20-yard line because of the angle. Was that actually effective? Was that hard for you guys to pick up the signals?
I think sometimes it is hard to pick up signal just from the way the angle was, but you got 10 other guys in the field that know the same, can pick up the call and just kind of relay that to them. So just being able to communicate to the guy next to you, I think will help that out.
Just to be more clear, last year in the ASU game, was that harder? Was it made harder by the sheets to see in that window of?
Yeah, no,
guys?
it was made harder, but I think guys just even they couldn't see, they could just ask their adjacent person that's right next to them, okay, what's the play, what's the sign? So.
What was your reaction? That coaches dreamed it up, and they brought it out to practice. What was your reaction? Was it like, this is not going to work, or?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of weird at first because we had guys that are, administration staff holding up big sheets during practices, and I ended up holding them during the game. So I was like, okay, well, at least we got some good use out of those people, on the sideline, and so it was just funny. But we'll see what happens this year.
Yeah.
We're gonna still do that.
When you look back at the penalties last week, there were a lot on the O-line that kind of negated some big runs. Is that something that you see as an extension of some of the problems that were happening earlier in the year, or were new things cropping up? Helfrich said one was just a reaction. He thought Jake Hansen on the chop, that wasn't necessarily his fault. What do you think?
I don't think that's a reaction from or based on earlier this year. Sometimes you get referees that like to call tighter games than others. You got different referee crews each week, so you can't just base it off of prior performance. But some of the calls we had, we had a couple holding calls that I think could have gone either way. But being able to just clean some of that technique stuff up during the week, I think will help us out and be able to execute better during the weekend.
Thanks, Cam.
Awesome. Thanks.